reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network.
You're logging into your favorite game, grinding out some gear. A couple of points added to your stats, and you have a virtual beer. Max level is pretty cool, but I'll remind you here, my friend. These games are not about the goal, it's about the journey and not the end.
You're listening to MMO Reporter, brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at audibletrial.com/MMO Reporter. And by Doghouse Systems. Choose your weapon with Doghouse Systems.
Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every little character you've got, no matter what level they're at. Don't forget about your ults you need.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of MMO Reporter. This is episode 210. We are into the tens of double triple digits. And I am so impressed. We have joining us, as always, the most eloquent soliloquy reader that I've ever met, Mr. at MMO Bill. Hello, Bill.
Soliloquy reader? Can I put that on a business card?
You sure can. You sure can. And the winner of the 1982 Fanciest Pants Contest at the Illinois State Fair, Leonor, hello.
I'm flying myself into the sun after that.
How are you doing, Leonor?
I'm crashing my ship in Elite Dangerous. How are you?
I'm doing great. And star of stage, screen, and stage, Mr. Harry Hall.
Yeah, hi, I'm back. I'm finally just caught up with the jet lag from the PAX trip, and then the freaking time changes here in Europe. So, thank you.
I figured you just had forgotten to wind your alarm clock.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, it happens. It's kind of a pain.
I'm happy. I'm glad to be back, so I can correct you guys.
Of course.
Quality
Yeah.
control on the podcast.
Yeah, of course. Hey, it's wonderful to have everybody back. I'm Chris. For those of you that don't know, I already said that, though, so I don't know why I said it again. Bill, however, is going to tell you what he's been doing in game.
Well, this is actually really easy because I've played precisely 2 games. I've played Guild Wars 2, which should shock pretty much everybody listening to this show for at least the second time. Actually, I've been doing a little bit of everything in Guild Wars 2. I've been playing my mains. I've been doing a whole bunch of world events. I did a little bit of PvP, or world versus world, I should say, not PvP.
But it's PvP. It's world PvP.
And I'm really not good at it. It was a little bit embarrassing. I played for probably 45 minutes, and I'm stuck at the next achievement for killing other players, and I need to get 1 kill, and I needed 1 kill for the entire 45 minutes I was playing, and I got none.
Oh,
I died.
I know
times.
how that is.
Oh, that's too bad.
I died several times, but yeah. Anyway, so
Bill.
But I still love Guild Wars 2. It makes me happy. I've been playing a little bit of Elite Dangerous. I brought my bank up to 1.7 million, and I'm
nice.
patiently saving up for the Advanced Discovery Scanner. And once I have that, I'm going to go on a great long exploratory mission. I haven't decided if I'm going to go to the edge of the galaxy and try to disappear into the ether, or if I'm going to go to the center of the galaxy and see what I can find there.
But is it going to be a 5-year mission?
In the center?
He plans for 5, but it will cancel after 3. But the density of stars is higher the closer you get to the center. So there's more to discover. So you will get more credits going to the center.
Oh, that's what I want. I actually do want to get some discovery credits. I haven't discovered anything for myself yet. And I feel out of 4 billion systems, I really should have my name tagged on one thing.
I wish there was a way to actually see what was already discovered by other players and what you discovered, so you could have this overlay over the galaxy map to see the blank spots. But there isn't, as far as I know.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of things that they need to add to Elite Dangerous.
Yes.
Maybe I'll save that for somebody else's turn to have a chat here. But yeah, so still like Elite Dangerous. But that's been it. It's been a crazy week trying to get real life sorted and everything like that. So hopefully going to be jumping into a couple more games. Like I said, I've still got that Game of Thrones Telltale game just screaming at me. Log in, play me. Get your Game of Thrones fix.
All right.
I'm actually getting my Game of Thrones fix by reading World of Ice and Fire right now. So, which is actually really interesting. I don't know. Are you guys all book readers for Game of Thrones?
I'm several books behind you, but yes.
I'm not into the books because I'm watching it on HBO, so I'm not. It's kind of like a choice. I don't want to read the same thing I'm watching.
I can understand that.
Because I can see the discrepancies then, and they're probably both fine in its own right, and probably the book is better, but I just choose not to read them when I'm watching them.
Okay, well, I won't spoil all that. It's a very neat thing. Like there's been a lot of
spoil it, and I will kill you.
Somebody dies.
There's
Sorry,
a lot
spoiler.
of epic fantasies that do those kind of Atlas type books and everything like that, and this is one of those, and it's actually doing a very good job of adding flavor to the world, giving you a little more detail. There's ever so few hints of what's going on in the world, and kind of foreshadowing a bit what's going to come up in the future books and TV series and that kind of thing. So it is a good fix if you're looking for something before, I think it's April 12th is the go day.
Yep.
And thank you, everyone, for watching Game of Thrones Reporter. We will continue now with a fireside chat about the importance of the Lannister family.
Like I said, it was a light game week. Give me a break. Leonor, fill the gap.
Yeah, you played lots, right?
What?
You played lots of games, right?
Yeah, I played lots of one game, yeah. I played The Secret World, and the Golden event is going on right now, which is double AP, which is pretty much double experience. So I've been working on that, and I used to have the skill wheel at 50%, which is like all the skills that you get. There are 525 skills to get off of the skill wheel. I was at 50%, now I'm at 81%. So I have 425 skills now.
Wow.
So I'm real close to finishing out that whole wheel, and the event finishes on April 1st at midnight. So I'm going to be further than that. I'm probably going to be hitting around 90%.
So no sleep for you.
No.
No.
Harry, what have you been doing?
Well, what I was doing actually. Well, the main time sink I've spent time on is actually the Borderlands The Handsome Collection, which I reviewed on PlayStation 4, and that's the compilation, the remaster of Borderlands 2 and Borderlands the pre-sequel, including all of the DLC for both of those games up until now. So that's a sizable chunk of content. Mm-hmm. And I never actually enjoyed Borderlands at all. I had a distinct dislike of Borderlands. Oh. And I don't know what happened, because the game is the same. It's the same exact, but I'm loving it. I cannot stop. Borderlands 2. I'm having so much fun with it. I don't know what happened. Probably maybe it's the class. I had to re-roll because this is a little nitpick. But you have this collection for the PlayStation 4, and you have the option to import a character from a previous console generation, which would have been great, because then I would have imported my Xbox 360 save. But you can't, because you can only import save games within the same console family. Oh. But that doesn't really make sense, because the PlayStation 4 version of Diablo allowed you to import characters from any which version you had. It didn't matter, PC, 360, whatever. So I was able to continue my Xbox 360 game on the PlayStation 4 without a hitch. So it's not a rule of the platform that stops you.
No, but I bet you the difference is that Diablo 3 is your characters are saved on the server, not on your computer.
Well,
Whereas with
that's exactly what
Borderlands-
Borderlands does.
It saves them on the server?
You have to go to the previous version of the game, and then you select a separate option for
Okay.
cloud saving.
Got it. Yeah.
And so it's the same thing.
Okay.
It's
It's a company
server
choice
side.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a stupid choice.
It is.
Especially, because a lot of people I know switched for the current gen from the 360 to the PlayStation 4. That's the new next gen system for most people I know. So,
Hey,
I don't know.
quick question for you. What class did you roll in this latest go-around?
I think that's the big change. I went for a sniper, and I'm
Okay.
having so much more fun with that than just a straight gunzerker or whatever.
I was wondering
like-
if you'd gone with the Necromancer.
No, I do have all the classes available. I didn't even know there was a necromancer. I think
Not
there are
necro,
like six.
mech, as in mechanical.
Right.
Necromancer.
Okay. Well, maybe on my New Game Plus, because I'm actually now considering doing a New Game Plus.
Well,
even though
I was gonna bring up the comment that the developers made about that, and that's the class I play. I like it. I played Borderlands 2. I don't have the Handsome Collection, but I played Borderlands 2, and I like that class because I can summon pets, basically, right? My mech, and the developers called it one specific tree of abilities for that one. They called it the girlfriend class, because your girlfriend could play the game and still get through if she played that class. So that was not the most, and that's the class I play. Just saying. Moving along.
there's actually I enjoy the challenge of the sniper because it's just tuned. I think that really makes or breaks the game for me. The class that I selected. So I'm
It's
having
like an
a lot of fun with
MMO,
it.
right? In that way, it's like an MMO.
It is very MMO like in that I feel like I can complete the game solo now and enjoy the story, and then just go back in for multiplayer shenanigans. And I think it's so MMO-ish. The last thing I'd like to say about Borderlands is playing it now and enjoying it now. I start to dislike Destiny so much because it wasted so many opportunities that Borderlands cashed into. I'm not saying Borderlands is perfect. There are a lot of little things that annoy me. For example, the backtracking is horrendous. There's this three thorns zone or something. I've literally spent half an hour going around and around in circles just because I didn't find the off ramp on the map to get to the next waypoint. There are some very annoying bits in that, but once you get to the fun, my God, it's good. Talking about good fun, Hearthstone. All of a sudden, I felt like playing World of Warcraft without the bullcrap. So I corrected myself just in time.
Thank you.
To keep this
Saves
clean.
my editing time.
Yes,
Slaving over a hot keyboard like Bill thinks I don't do.
Yeah. Anyway, so Hearthstone is so much fun. The end. I got the Telltale Everything collection.
Can I tell the story? Can I tell the story? Can I tell the story? Harry, can I tell the story?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
Just humiliate me.
So, Harry is one cool cucumber. He is very worldly and does not freak out about really anything ever. And we get back to the hotel after a day at PAX, where he went to a panel where he got a code for the Telltale Everything collection, basically every Telltale game up till now, except for which one didn't it have because of licensing issues, right? Which one?
The CSI game.
ones, right? So we get back to the hotel and he can't find the code. And he doesn't just look for the code. He panics and searches everywhere for the code. As I am trying to upload stuff for Leonor to edit, he is very
Shut down.
very focused on finding this code. And I think it was probably the last place you looked. You found it.
Well,
but you looked through everything, every bag, every coat pocket, and
the terrible thing was, okay, first I can obsess, and especially about something like that, because let's face it, it was a swag light PAX. There wasn't really that much to take
my
home,
goodness,
but I
yeah.
was very interested. So when I went to the keynote accidentally and then got the Telltale Everything Collection Steam code, which is all the Telltale games. I mean, that means I have now Game of Thrones, which I didn't own yet, and all the episodes that are still coming up. So everything. So
That's
that was
an
a big thing.
amazing swag. Like that would have
Oh, I would
made
love that.
PAX Prime. Like that would have easily been the star of PAX Prime swag.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. So it's not like a skin code or something. This was a big deal. This was like I looked it up later. It's like $300 value. So once I found it, this is the frustrating thing. It was exactly where I put it. I put the card in my passport because I thought I will never lose my passport, so it will be in there. I don't know why. I've looked in my passport like several times. It kind of stuck between two pages or something. So I've turned up I almost burned down the hotel room. I was completely freaking out. Like, this is the only thing I want to take home, and it's not there.
Yep.
So, but anyway.
I didn't mind so much you looking around. It was the cavity search that bothered me.
You just stand there and take it. I'm not leaving this hotel room before I know I've searched everywhere.
And Harry checked everything 5 times.
At a certain point, he did start to enjoy it, which was kind of worrisome.
Moving along. Moving along.
That's why you hid it in your passport.
Well, yeah. They never looked there. Guild Wars 2, fun. I played a bit of World of Warships. Have you heard about this one?
I talked to them at PAX.
Yeah, and I played a beta version of it. And I had some interesting experiences. I actually played the game and with a developer account, and so you got some coin, some unlimited cash actually, so you can try out the premium stuff as well. Mm-hmm. So I bought a premium ship, and I immediately found that I had a big advantage in the beta. I was like a level 7 ship, while everybody else was
level 1 or
doing
2,
level 1s. Yeah. So I wrote about that, and then I got a kind of a very terrified and worried PR person on the phone, like, that's not supposed to happen. It's not pay to win. Honestly, it's not pay to win. Turns out she was actually right, but the beta is such a limited beta that people were matched. They had to match me to some group, so they matched me to level 1s and 2s. Which was an interesting experience, because then all of a sudden I was actually good at the game for a moment.
Yeah, but you know what? I will say this: their Wargaming's matchmaking system is fairly good at matching you up against people of equal gear, for lack of a better term, equal equipment.
Yeah. Well, they are, but I mean, it's a beta, and there aren't enough people in the pool to match me up properly. Yeah. So it wasn't. So I was actually kind of upset, like, oh, this is pay to win, but it isn't. So I'm just setting the record straight. World of Warships, not pay to win. It's actually difficult to play, and I am not sure it is my cup of tea, because it's kind of slow, and it is warships. So it's like they have a turning circle of about 1 kilometer or something. It's not. You really want to be prepared for something that feels like turn-based until you get to the other ships, and then you get raped from all sides by all the guns.
Okay, on that note.
Boy, you want to be careful about when you join into this podcast.
I have to say, and I'm not particularly speaking to you, Harry, but my groan is more, I don't particularly enjoy that particular term as part of the gaming culture. But that's just me. Because I'm an old fuddy-duddy.
Okay, I apologize. You are correct. I got fisted.
Hey, thank you for making it better.
Oh, man.
like they put their fist up in the air and said, "We're gonna get you."
That's what
what
I
you
assumed
meant.
you meant.
I'm Dutch. Don't mess with me. Okay, let's go.
Oh man! All right. So I played Neverwinter, and that comes out tomorrow on Xbox One. I've been playing it on PC a little bit, trying to get ready, get used to the game again. But I actually got my press code today, and I went to put it in, booted up the game to patch and everything like that. And hey, I got in a day early. So I don't know if servers are open or something like that, but or if it was just the press code allowed us in early. But I played Neverwinter on Xbox One. I only got maybe 15 minutes of playtime, just got through the tutorial and into the main city, so I can't comment on what it's like. First impressions are pretty good, but we'll be streaming a couple nights this week, so people will be able to see the stream highlights on YouTube.
Are the servers cross-region? Because I am going to review the game on Xbox One. So if we could get
That
some
would be
time
fun.
together, I would enjoy
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
I did not see a server selection, so
Oh, it's probably just like an Xbox Live matchup thing. They're just one world probably for all the Xbox
hopefully
players.
that would be great.
I think this game would thrive on the console. I think it's so
I
well
think it would
suited for
too.
Yeah, we'll see how it does. I did not have any negative experiences. I don't think I got far enough to have an oh that's so cool. I didn't play it and automatically think, oh wow, that's awesome. That's so much better. Like when I went from Dragon Age on PC, I hate to say this, Bill's gonna kill me, but when I went from Dragon Age on PC to PS4, super shift in experience right away. Just so much better on the PS4. Sorry.
I had that with Smite. Oh, I forgot. I played Smite actually on the on the Xbox One as well.
Oh, cool.
It's great there. Okay, continue.
So anyways, Neverwinter, played some of that. Looking forward to getting into the Xbox One some more in the next couple of days. Played some WoW. I actually LFR'd, looking for rated for 3 different runs the other night. Updated my shoulders, my helm, my boots, my sword. It was a good night. It was fun, but I'm feeling my interest wane. I am now starting to think, well, am I gonna keep my subscription going? I don't know. I think I need to either keep going and find a guild and do something in-game socially, or I'll just let my subscription lapse, because it's not. It worked to this point as a solo game, and now, I don't want to go in and finish up all my quests for all the different zones and stuff like that. I don't want to. I have no interest in doing that right now. When I was playing it exclusively, yeah, I'd 100% the zones, get the achievement for completing all the zones. But now, I don't know. Harry, is your subscription still valid? Like, are you still playing WoW?
No. I have some time cards in the emergency box, but Hearthstone saved me this time.
Bill, what about you? Are you still getting your garrison done?
I technically have a subscription, but I haven't. My subscription or my garrison is really missing me. I have a feeling it's.
Yeah. Are you getting
in
to the same
absolute
point?
chaos right now?
Are you getting to the same point I am? Like, yeah, okay, you know what? I've experienced this expansion. I'm not going to hardcore raid, so I think I'm done.
I haven't done much for dungeons or raids yet, so I feel like there's probably still some room for me to get back in there.
Yeah.
It's been a time and interest thing. I haven't had it.
So there you go. Well, we'll see whether or not I continue. I'll let you guys know in the next few weeks. Elite Dangerous. Oh my gosh, that was disastrous. We were gonna try and play while we podcast tonight, and it was a gong show. Wings is not the messiah that it promised to be for group play in Elite Dangerous. It didn't go so well.
Yeah.
No,
we did. The thing that really annoys me is you can't find each other sometimes, even though you are in the same system, and that's just a flaw.
Yep.
Well,
Because if go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'll go second.
I was just gonna say we were friends in game. We were in the same wing, so the matchmaking behind the scenes should have picked up without any hitch that we wanted to play together and not avoid each other. And I just don't see why this is such a problem.
Mm-hmm. Well, Harry, I mean, we tested it. Harry and I both dropped into orbit the same space station, and we were literally staring right at each other, and the game still didn't recognize that we were in the same wing, at least on my UI. Harry was flying around as a regular orange dot, which represents somebody, just a random person, instead of a blue dot, which is somebody in your wing. And that was basically where we drew the line and said, yep, this is not happening tonight. So
Yeah.
Well, I actually did see you as member of the wing, and it was your wing.
and
So it's very odd.
that's even worse in my mind. The fact that you could see me as part of the wing, but I couldn't see you as part of the wing. It would be one thing if neither of us could see each other as part of the wing, but I mean that just screams broken to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I also played some Hearthstone. I'm finding a real grind at rank 18, 17, 18 to get any lower than that. I'm just not. I guess I'm just not good enough. I got to listen to more Happy Hearthstone and understand how to play better. But I don't know where. Like I'm leveling just fine. But where do you end up, Harry, rank wise when you play for a few?
I'm basically stuck at rank 20, and I keep going up and down there. And it's I feel that I need to learn to make better decks. Because I sometimes the thing is I usually do well for the first half of the game, and I think I'm gonna get him. I even got a couple of games people down to like seven or six health, and then they just start tossing out cards that I didn't know existed, that start chain reactions and wipe me off. There's just a deck building thing.
Yeah. What about you, Lenor?
I got pretty far when the game came out, where everybody seemed to have pretty much the same kind of decks. So I got pretty far, but lately, last month, when everybody started getting all the new cards and all that, it suddenly became like it wasn't a game that was casual anymore, that you pretty much had to have a lot of the newer cards to get further, and it was much harder to get ranks into I was having problems trying to get to rank 20, I think it was.
Yeah,
so
it took me.
I pretty much like stopped playing the game at that point.
It took me a couple of days of looking up builds and getting good decks before I really was getting past 20. I did have a hump at rank 20 to get over, and then proper deck building got me over that, but now it's 17, 18, where I think that's where my skill is. I think, it's a skill-based game. It's a knowledge-based skill game, and that's just where my understanding of the game is. What I've been playing...
Well, there is a luck factor.
A part of it in the cards, but it's also knowing how to combo. And I, just like in MMOs where people will see builds that use different things together to be more effective, I don't see that. I can't theory craft like that. So it's the same thing in Hearthstone.
Do you mind though?
Do I mind being no, I don't mind. I have fun.
No.
Every time I play, I have fun.
Thing.
I don't like the cheese plays where somebody will be going along and then all of a sudden they put 3 cards down, their minion has 80 health and they kill me in one shot. I'm sure they love it, and they probably lost 10 matches to be able to get to the one match where they got all the cards to be able to do that. But it sure doesn't feel good on my end.
No.
What I've been trying to move to a little bit here as we keep going back to Hearthstone is I've been playing a lot of Heroes of the Storm. And I've been finding in Guild Wars 2, a couple of weeks ago, I got into SPVP after playing with Alona from Guild Wars Reporter. And with Heroes of the Storm, getting into MOBAs after my fun experience with Gigantic, where I didn't suck playing Gigantic at PAX. Harry can attest to this. I was not the worst player in the game. It was awesome. So I've been playing a lot of Heroes of the Storm, and I've actually been playing the Elite Tauren Chieftain as my character, and really enjoying that. It just kind of fits me because it's music based, and it's a good warrior sort of tanky class, which I like to play. and I'm doing pretty good. I think I'm level 11 now, 10 or 11, my actual character, and then my Elite Tauren Chieftain is somewhere around 8 or 9. So I'm not super far in the game, but I'm really having fun with it. It's a nice switch on MOBAs. It doesn't feel quite as twitchy as League does. And the community is so much better. Oh my goodness. So much better in Heroes. I have yet to be berated for being horrible. And I am horrible. So I have plenty of reasons to be berated.
Well, geez, maybe I should take it up then if you don't get yelled at for sucking.
I know.
That sounds like my kind of game.
I know.
But so it's not a true MOBA. That's what you're saying.
Now, does that make it a MOBA Light or a MOBA Ultra?
It's, you know what? It's different. It doesn't have the store, the item purchase. You just get different choices of abilities that you can get. So it's a little bit quicker in that way. You're not as worried about the item game. And I'm just really enjoying it. It's tons and tons of fun. And I haven't spent any money yet, which is cool. Last but not least, I did some PvP in Cyrodiil in ESO with Ben last Wednesday. And you can watch the stream highlight on YouTube. We suck. We were level 13, and there were people that were veteran rank 13 and 14, and we're like, but they're just level 13, 14. Why are they killing us so much? Because it's veteran rank. So that means they've gotten to 50 and then gotten another 14 levels above that in the veteran ranks, which is like the alternate advancement stuff. It was still fun though. We still did manage to cap a couple keeps, and really enjoyed it. So you can check out the stream highlights on YouTube. That was really fun. Want to, unless there's any other comments about our gameplay for the week? Hearing none, moving along. Want to thank all of our patrons at patreon.com/MMO Reporter. We've got 24 patrons now for a total of $111 pledged. That is absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much to all of our patrons. I've been sending out and cleaning up all of our sort of administrative page for all that. So if you have not received an email and you are a patron, at any point, you need to contact me, please, chris@MMOreporter.com, and let me know that you have not received your Patreon email that from me or from Celeste talking about your pledge rewards. So that is it. Go check it out, patreon.com/MMO Reporter.
I played to max level in this week's beta. Killed lots of monsters and found some awesome loot. I had some great fun in this week's beta. And I grew attached to my little virtual dude. So I ask, please don't delete my guy after beta. Please don't crush that part of my soul.
All right, moving on to the news. Our first story comes to us from Kickstarter, and I'm going to start this off by giving a little bit of a disclaimer. This is the first Kickstarter campaign that I have ever backed. That's right, Crowfall was funded at $1.766 million with nearly 17,000 backers. This is one that we've talked a couple of times about. It's a really PvP-centric game, and I'm really excited about it being successful in its Kickstarter campaign. And I thought long and hard before I backed it, but I did back it. And I think I sent a tweet about it even. I'm backing the idea, and hopefully we'll get a game out of it. And I think that's the right way. I didn't spend money to pre-purchase a game here. I spent that money to support the idea because I think it will be fantastic, and I hope it will be. So, I mean, how much do you guys know about Crowfall, Harry?
None at all.
Nothing at all. Oh, okay. Well,
we got a deal for you.
On that note, their tagline is Eternal Heroes Dying Worlds, which is basically the main chunk of the game is going to take place in campaigns which are time-based. They start at spring. They start in the season of spring, and then over the course of the campaign, it ends at winter. And it's a time-based. It's going to be a matter of weeks, not weeks or months, not days. And there can be different rule sets in these campaigns. So think of it similar in a way to the way ESO does their campaigns, where you'll have to choose a campaign that you're going to go into, and they've got a few different rule set base points. The God's Reach one is the 3-faction realm versus realm with a twist. There's basically two realms that are fighting each other, order and chaos, and then there's a third faction that's just trying to make sure that no one wins, which I think is an interesting way to approach 3-faction RVR.
Trolls.
What's that?
The trolls.
Yeah, well, kind of.
Once
Yeah.
trolls get in, no one wins.
Yeah.
Well, it's good that they actually carve them out and say, okay, these are who they are. Like,
Yeah.
put a label on them.
Yeah. But, I could totally see that. Like, if you want to RP it, there's a total non-trollish way to approach it. Yes, you don't want order or chaos to win. You want balance. You want them both to be a part of the world. So that, I could see that being a valid way to approach it. The Infected, which is 6 to 12 faction RVR. Ha! That's going to be crazy. The Shadow, Guild versus Guild, and the Dregs, which is basically a free-for-all. When you are not in your campaign, you're going to be in the Eternal Kingdoms, which is the non-dying part of the world. This is the part that's going to be consistent throughout all the different campaigns. It's going to be a mixture of your player housing and your sort of social areas. You can think of them almost like fiefdoms, kind of like... And the way that they work is kind of like the old Asheron's Call allegiance, or the patron system that they had, where there'll be one person at the head and kind of a almost pyramid in a sort of schematic. I was trying to say pyramid scheme without saying pyramid scheme. But it is, and that's the permanent part of the game. Also in there's going to be player-run stores, which are going to replace Auction House. Interesting. And you're going to be able to have some kingdoms... the Eternal Kingdoms are going to be able to set their own rules. So some rulers may set these rules, taxes, etc. And some kingdoms may become more popular than others, either because of their design or their rule set. So that's sort of the basic idea of the persistent part and the non-persistent PvP part. Totally PvP. The PvE is meant to be not trivial, but not the point of the game. There's not going to be raids or anything like that. It's going to be all about the PvP. And the cool part about it, they're using the voxel farm technology, so environments and buildings are made out of voxels, not for creation, but for destruction. In one of the gameplay videos, they actually show one of the walls being broken down by a character. There's some effects that go in before it, so it's not just a character coming up and breaking down a wall, but that's a kind of a cool thing. And you're going to be able to destroy the ground and tunnel under a fortification, for example. That sort of stuff is going to be possible in the world, which is really interesting. I always hoped with stuff like Dark Age of Camelot that you'd be able to, send in your scouts and be sneaky and climb up this way and be effective, but it really never turned out to be that way. It was always Zerg here, Zerg there.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping that this will allow us for a little more tactical stuff. And it's the same way with Guild Wars 2. Zerg, Zerg, Zerg. So I'm hoping that this will be a little bit more tactical than that. Mm-hmm. As far as your character goes, 12 character archetypes with some more specialization available at higher levels. And the advancement, you'll like this, Harry. It's a combination of Eve-like passive advancement, where you set skills to train while you're on or offline, and then active skill advancement, which is going to be, you're going to set a primary, secondary, and tertiary skill. The primary getting more XP or for use, the secondary, second most, tertiary, third most, etc. And then advantages are going to cost skill points when you create your character, and then you can also take disadvantages to get more skill points. So you can make yourself dim-witted, but then you'll get more points to put in strength or whatever, stuff like that.
Oh, it's a bit like the VAT system in Fallout.
Mm-hmm. And then I think a couple of really interesting things here to end things off with. As the world progresses from spring to winter, the monsters get harder, the resources get more scarce, and that's going to affect characters because there's going to be like a DayZ type hunger mechanic where players will have to stockpile food reserves in the spring and summer to make it through the winter, or else your character will be weakened.
To be more effective in the final winter phase, which is when everything is going to be kind of determined.
The fan.
So basically a cricket in the ant type fable. You get people who are playing all day, and then when winter comes, starve to death.
Yeah.
Well, I think what they're aiming for is for the first few phases to be kind of almost peaceful, and it's obviously not a PvE game, but that's where you're laying your foundations. Like guilds will be building structures and fortifications and that kind of thing to basically set themselves up to protect themselves during the winter, because in the winter is when the environment gets more dangerous. It's when the stakes become higher as far as whether you're going to win that match or not, or that session or whatever you want to call it. So it's going to take planning, and it's not just going to be, or it doesn't come off as being just a Zerg fest where you run around with 20 of your favorite people and kill everything that you can see.
So it sounds interesting enough that I backed it, the idea. I hope that it turns into something that does launch, which would be really cool. And I'm hoping that they don't have an exact time frame yet, but I'm hoping that it's sooner rather than later.
The Kickstarter was...
Yeah,
Sorry,
I love the vision too, Harry.
Yeah.
No, that was it. Just I love the vision. I mean, everything you described is something I'd like to play. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's very cool. The Kickstarter set a target of December 2016, so this is not right around the corner or anything like that.
The one thing that I do dislike is that some of the archetypes are race and sex locked. So, for example, the assassin is only a female elf-like character. And I might like to play that game style, but I really have a hard time playing female characters in games. I can't connect. That's just me.
You're afraid your wife is going to walk into the room. I know.
No, it's
you
just
put lots and lots of armor on them, and you cover that all up, and you're fine.
Yeah, right. We all know how female characters are armored. Female armor, yeah, that will hide everything.
Yeah, for me though, that's a deal breaker. I just don't like it. It's not like a moral objection or anything like that. It's just not something for me. It's
yeah. The interesting thing is, I understand completely where you're coming from. That also makes me realize again that for a lot of female players, it's very hard to identify with the eye candy that is created for them. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you want a character that kind of realistically, or at least comfortably, not realistically, comfortably represents you in the virtual world. Mm-hmm. But whatever kind of character it is, and you don't want something that you feel uncomfortable with. Imagine there are so many groups of people, women, gay, transgender, who do not feel comfortable with the way their characters represent them. And I think it's something that the designers could take more into consideration.
Absolutely. Well, that's actually one thing totally off topic, but during the Blizzard panel, the Overwatch developer mentioned that one of the characters, the new character, they specifically had her have a different body type because but players were saying that they didn't have a body type that fit them as one of the characters in the game. So that was something that developers are actively taking into account.
So here's a little thought game for you. What's the right way to approach that then? Should game developers be responsible for creating game experiences that match up as closely as possible with as many life experiences there are out there? I mean, if you want to get into gender and sexuality, gay, straight, male, female, big, small, whatever, or should it be just basically kind of egalitarian, like basically force choices or force people or push people into playing archetypes that maybe are outside of their own self-identification. Like, is that maybe the stronger social message to say, you know what, step out of your comfort zone, see what it's like to walk in this person's shoes?
I think.
Well, no.
Oh, go ahead, Harry.
Well, I think it has to do with the limitations that you. I mean, a very simple example: if you have a marriage system in a game, which a lot of games have, why restrict it to opposite genders? For example, if you free that, if you allow people of any gender to marry in game, you don't say that you have to have a gay marriage, but you're not excluding people who would like to have that for one reason or the other, for role-playing purposes or for their life choices. So I think it has to do with limitations that might not feel like a limitation if you are a male, white, straight designer, and you create a traditional marriage type system, you might not feel that that's a restraining system, but you are imposing your choices on what players can do. And I think that's basically more the awareness. Or be aware that your what you consider to be the standard choice isn't. You're taking away the choice by imposing that. I think that's the only thing.
What I'm saying is, that to me, it seems like an easy way to go. That's just basic sensitivity, is to try to be a little bit egalitarian in those kind of systems. But when we're talking about like character archetypes here, maybe the only way you could play a ranger is if you're going to play a gay woman. That's that. If you want a bow, that's the character you have to play, and it's almost kind of forcing people that it is a little bit weird, but it's also, is it a positive thing to maybe get people to step outside of their comfort zone and kind of experience a little bit of empathy? Is that maybe an overreach for social responsibility for game development, or is that actually enlightened?
Well, we have another game that's like that too with Vindictus. Vindictus lets you pick your character, but the genders are already picked. And it's like that because the story itself is about 4 or 5 different people, not as a huge world where there's a whole bunch of players attacking, like bosses and stuff like that. You can, if you're playing the female hunter, you will meet other female hunters that are the exact same character in the game, but when you get into that instance where you're fighting stuff, you have all of the different archetypes with you, and there's no repeating characters. So I think that if the game is built around a specific story, kind of like Diablo, you should be able to pick the characters that you want to play, and I don't think that you need to switch out the genders or not, because that's the character for that story that you're playing through.
But that's different for you. If it's story based, that's different. I think then you can, for example, if I'm playing a Telltale game, I don't expect any input on my character creation, because the story is written in such a way that I'm asked to role. And then we come to what Bill is saying. Then you invite people to step in, to walk a mile in somebody else's shoes, because you're actually role playing. When we're playing an MMO, you're not generally looking for a story that somebody else is telling you. You're trying to find your own experiences. You're trying to find an avatar that represents you or the character you choose to play in that world. And I think the more limitations you have there, the more it takes you out of the experience. While in a story-based game, I'm all with Bill. Like, please show me games that quote-unquote force me to experience a completely different look on life.
Like Life as a Cylon, apparently.
I think you're probably right. Like, when I'm posing the question, I was actually posing it as a real question without a predetermined answer. I think you're probably right, Harry, that it's a reach for an MMO to do something like that, but gaming in general, I think there's definitely a place for it, and I'd actually be kind of curious to see various viewpoints and actually play various viewpoints as just part of the game.
That's the great thing about story.
Yeah, two different things here. When we look at a game like like Harry was saying, when we look at a game like The Last of Us, they were telling a specific story with a specific character. They were telling that character's story. That is something different than an MMO where you create a character that is meant to be your representation in game, your representative in game. In that situation where you can create a character, I think that there should be options for everyone to be able to create a character that represents them as they see themselves. Maybe that's a big brawny guy. Maybe that is a transgender girl, whatever that is. We have gotten off on a tangent. I hate to end things off here, but we do have more show to talk about. So I'm going to mention our sponsors real quick. Audible, go to audibletrial.com/MMO Reporter, and you can get yourself a free month of Audible, which means you get a free audiobook. If you decide to continue, you will get a audiobook per month for their subscription plan. And of course, our friends over at Doghouse Systems. You can get the graphic says double memory still. It is not double memory anymore. It is use the coupon code MMO Reporter at doghousesystems.com, and you can get a free 120 gigabyte SSD with your purchase. So let's move things along.
So speaking of kickstarted PvP-centric games that are in the process of being developed, Camelot Unchained has actually just released its first alpha video footage of the game. It's actually got published through a Twitch streamer. I'm actually totally gapping on his name right now, but we'll have a link in the show notes. It's basically about 5.5 minutes. Yes, thank you. It's basically about 5.5 minutes of gameplay, character creation, and everything like that. And it's actually a really nice introduction to Camelot Unchained, and just to give you a view of what the absolute basic bare-bone wireframe type mechanics of the game are going to be. It's very much pointed out at the beginning that this is a traditional alpha type state for the game, in that systems are very incomplete, models are very incomplete, graphics are very incomplete, and that kind of thing. But you do get a chance to kind of see what the gameplay is going to look like, and it in the little taste that you get, I'm definitely reminding myself very much of Dark Age of Camelot and the kind of the play and everything like that. So it does seem to be staying true to its roots quite a bit. There's some really neat features like just destructible environments and that kind of thing. Player created destructible environments. They showed an example of a magic spell that actually creates cover for players to kind of hide behind and break line of sight spells and that kind of thing that can also be destroyed by attacking players. So it kind of adds a bit of a offense defense type of mechanic to the game. But anyway, it's they display that. They display their building engine, so they show how keeps and that kind of thing can be built up and designed in the game. They show Zergs, because you can't have a Camelot spiritual successor without 50 of your favorite people fighting 50 of your least favorite people. I don't know. There's lots of cool stuff. It's a very good video. Just checking out the basics of the game. I'm actually really excited. I'm more excited about Camelot Unchained than I've been in quite a while. So it's anyway, very cool. What do you guys think? Did you guys get a chance to take a quick peek at this yet, or?
I did. Yeah, it's. I understand totally that it's alpha, but I'm watching this. I'm thinking, oh wow, it's 1999 again.
It is. It is very plain. Like the actual area looks a lot like Dark Age of Camelot looked like back in the day, and I fully expect that to get prettified and that kind of thing. The interesting thing, though, they kind of prefaced the video with a few facts about the game. It's being developed by basically a 9-person team.
Wow.
So it's. It's very light, agile type developed.
Hold on. Sorry, I got to go back a little bit. I think there's a placeholder here. Graphic. Let me just go back here just a little bit and see if I can find it. But I believe I saw a great big giant green rubber ducky.
Oh yes, you certainly did. That's in my mind. I'm hoping they find a way to allow you to construct rubber duckies as defensive structures.
There it is.
But they've got so it's a 9-person development team. One of the interesting things that they're doing is completely server-side physics. So there's no rubber banding or teleporting, or in theory, that's going to prevent that from happening. So I don't know. It looks like they've got a very neat system. It looks like a very slow combat system. It doesn't look like it's going to be a Twitch type PvP, which again kind of matches up quite a bit with Dark Age of Camelot. It was very much positioning, target sharing type stuff. So I'm kind of keen to see combat play out a little bit more slowly rather than just steamrolls. But yeah, very cool. I highly recommend checking it out.
Yeah, and there's a green rubber ducky.
Yeah, there certainly is. You've paused it brilliantly.
Thank you. And the lighting effects on the green rubber ducky are pretty good too.
There you go.
I have to check this green rubber ducky out. Wait a minute.
Sorry, I've moved along. Move things along. Sorry.
Anyway, in hindsight, I wish this had been my first Kickstarter. I was actually, like you said, Chris, Crowfall was my first ever Kickstarter-backed anything, much less game. So I'm pretty excited about that one. But if I could go back in time, I would have kickstarted Camelot Unchained. They seem to be doing okay without me, though.
Yeah. Maybe they can use a 10th person on their team. You never know.
Yeah, there you go.
You never know. Yeah, it looks interesting. I hope that it finds success, because more successes is better for the industry, right? We're in a spot right now where I feel like the multiplayer online industry is really in such huge flux from the subscription model, still settling into what is after the subscription model, that we need more successes. We need some more big successes, because we really haven't had any. Final Fantasy 14 is still doing well.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What's the last big success in the MMO world?
Star Citizen.
It's not launched.
Yeah, but it's already
success.
It's already more successful than almost every MMO released.
I would say Arcade is. I think that was the last biggest one.
It's not really a success, is it?
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not something that stuck with people. I think there are a lot of people playing it, but it's not something that stuck.
Right.
We need more successes. I think it's doing well. WildStar is showing a year over year 95% decrease in income projected. Which is huge. I don't think Arcade is as big in North America as it is in other locations. Rift is declining, but still doing okay. Right? We've got a whole bunch of smaller Swordsman Online and all those sorts of smaller scale MMOs. But of the big ones, nothing's been a huge hit.
But you have to remember that most of the things that used to make an MMO unique and warranted a subscription are now usurped or incorporated in all other games. I mean, playing online with your friends, that's not a unique feature anymore. That's expected.
Yeah.
MMO or RPG like progression, gear hunts, skill trees, marketplaces, shared worlds. It's all part of normal gaming now. So it's almost like shooters are not just walking in a corridor and firing a gun anymore. They've taken on so much of other genres, and I think MMOs as we know it are beginning to lose their right to exist unless they offer something that is uniquely theirs. And the last batch of MMOs we got didn't really offer anything we couldn't get anywhere else, either for free or in a single player or normal type game without a subscription. So the lull is, I think, a creative one. And games like Guild Wars 2 prove that there is still some fun to be had in the genre, but there aren't that many games that dare to challenge things.
I think, and we've said it many times before, I think the days of the epic catch-all MMO are pretty much done, and what you're going to see are a lot of kind of niche successes, the ones that kind of focus on one thing or one or two things to kind of differentiate themselves from everybody else, and the ones that actually just choose to dominate and innovate and have one amazing feature be their calling card are the ones that are going to have a moderate level of success. I think it's going to be basically a lottery win to have another one of those or another impossibly huge game that just catches a huge percentage of the market.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with you. I just, more successes is good for the industry. More even moderate successes.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well, and the last thing is the MOBA has taken over the part.
Mm-hmm.
The part of MMO is now played by MOBA.
Well,
Totally.
And what's a MOBA except it's basically distilling an MMO down to basically one mechanic that you just do over and over and over and over again.
Yelling at your fellow players. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, that's true. Very true. Leonor, you've got a quick mention before we move things along.
Yes, quick mention. If you remember a game called Cabal, there is the second game of that coming out called Cabal 2. And it's
no way. That's what they called it? Whoa.
Yes, they didn't call it Cabal Online 2.
And they say originality is dead. I mean, I take back all my words.
I was watching the videos of this game, and it feels like a older MMO. If you guys want, just compare this to old Lord of the Rings Online, let's say Moria era, compared to not compared, but with some Asian gameplay flair, like big, huge swing attacks and animations and stuff like that. If you look at the skill bar, you can get a whole lot of skills. Like, I think it comes up to around 30 or 40 skills per character.
Wow.
And a lot of the games are toned down right now, like Guild Wars 2 and Secret World and a few other games where you only get about like 4 or 6 skills. Or it goes up to like 10 or something like that. So this is like a callback to the older ways of some of the older role-playing games, MMOs. So I was actually kind of surprised to see this. So I thought I would mention it in the show. The open beta signups are open right now, and it's going to be starting up in late April, and it looks really cool. And we should all join up and stream it.
Yeah.
Lots of silence.
Yeah. Hey, I forgot to mention something at the start of the show, by the way. I played Skyforge, and I think the fact that I forgot to mention it in what I played this week tells you my thoughts. Crickets.
Wow.
Crickets. Yeah, it's okay. It's not. It's okay. All right. Bill, contact info if people want to get a hold of us.
Well, give us a website visit over at MMOreporter.com. You can email any of it, or you can email MMO Reporter at mmo.reporter@gmail.com. Visit us on Facebook, facebook.com/MMO Reporter. You can tweet at any of us, either at MMO_Reporter for Chris, at Harry Hall for Harry Hall, at Leonor for Leonor, or at MMO Bill for yours truly. You can give us a call at 616-666-6778. You can view our Zerg ID profiles over at either looking up Almazar, Woe, or Leonor at zergid.com. You can go over to youtube.com/user/MMO Reporter Network to check out all of our videos and other magic. And if you're looking to help keep the MMO Reporters on the air, you can throw a little bit of support our way over at MMOReporter.com/support, which will have links to either one-time donation options. You could become a Patreon patron, like all the other fantastic people have, our 24 other fantastic patrons. Boy, could you make it a nice round 25? Wouldn't that be just awesome?
30 would be even better.
Well, yeah.
30 would be cool. I would be really happy. Anyways.
30 is an even number. I like even numbers.
It is an even number. All right.
42!
All right, let's move things along, shall we? Thank you so much, Lenore, for recording. It was absolutely a ton of fun.
You are very, 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 very welcome. Yeah.
And thank you, Bill. As always, a pleasure.
It's my pleasure.
Harry, thanks for getting up so early. Much appreciated.
You're welcome. Sorry. You're welcome.
And, of course, thanks to everyone who hung out in our incredibly quiet, but according to our numbers, very busy chat room. We really appreciate you coming out and hanging out with us. Really want to thank all of our patrons and, of course, all of you who download the podcast week after week. We really appreciate it. We hope that you download it again next week, but most importantly, we hope to see you in game.
About your ults you need to cherish each and every little character you've got, no matter what level they're at. Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish